Hi, moms. It is Jillian. I have been getting a ton of questions on the Braving Wild Motherhood program. So I thought I would make this quick video for you to let you into the back end of the Learning Hub for you to see what is actually included in this program and learn a little bit about it and understand why I developed it. By the way, I run a webinar and a masterclass on the things that cause anxiety, why many things that people suggest are going to work for it don't, and what does. So if you haven't watched that webinar, I highly recommend that you do because it will answer a ton of questions for you. And I'm not going to get into that much detail today, but for the purpose of this talk, I just wanted to share a few important details with you about anxiety. So, first thing I want you to know is that anxiety is not just caused by one thing. So, if you are anxious, basically it's not your fault. It's not your broken hormones. It's not just because you're postpartum. Anxiety is caused by many, many things that are coming together, sort of like the perfect storm. So, for example, you might have had genetic predisposition for it, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get it. You're going to get it. You may have had it in your family, but then you've also maybe watched your mom or your dad struggle with anxiety, and you learned it that that was sort of the normal way of dealing with things. You grew up watching anxiety. Um, or something bad may have happened to you, or a series of sort of bad and hard things. And that taught your brain that bad things happen and that you need to always be looking out for them. Um, and then you could add on maybe postpartum hormones or an extremely stressful situation like the current pandemic that we are still in, or other things, a financial distress, a separation with your spouse, a sick child. So, anxiety really comes when we have a lot of things, a lot of stressors, and maybe a history of not knowing how to navigate mental health and history of maybe some trauma or just hard times before. And then, boom, anxiety really sort of reveals itself. So, most of the moms that I work with say, I never really thought I had anxiety, but now that I look back at it, it kind of seems like I always did. It's just that I managed it a little bit better. It didn't really feel like anxiety. It just felt like I was always sort of on the go and I didn't know how to quiet my mind. But now that I'm a mom and I have kids, it's really starting to interfere with things. And my worry is like way more because it's not just about me anymore. Now I have to worry about them too. And so the stakes seem a lot higher, right? So, what happens when we start to develop anxiety as well is we develop these pathways from our brain, these neural connections that run from our brain and through our body, and all through our entire nervous system. And I like to call these worry pathways. And the thing is that they become automatic, they become our default pathways. And so, because of that, it's really, really hard to change anxiety by yourself, because you have to teach your brain not to use those default worry pathways. But your brain doesn't know any better now. It's learned that those are the ones it should use. And that is why you just feel anxious and you don't really even know why. Like nothing necessarily even happened today. You just woke up feeling anxious and you can't get it to stop. So that's the thing. Anxiety is kind of tricky. And we're getting a lot of misinformation from society on why we have it and simple things like a book of how this should be able to fix it. And it's just simply not true. So, I wanted to come on today to share with you, like I said, a little bit about the program Braving Wild Motherhood that I created. So, first and foremost, the content that Braving Wild Motherhood is created on is something I didn't make up. It's based on mindfulness based cognitive therapy. as well as a few other types of therapies like CBT, which people know is the gold star for anxiety, ACT, which is called, stands for acceptance and commitment therapy, and a few other sort of curated psychotherapy techniques that I have found in my 20 years almost of working with children and families and mothers and mental health, and in my own personal journey in overcoming anxiety. The things that actually are needed to work and to rewire those worry pathways and to turn them into calm ones. Um, so the thing is with Braving Wild Motherhood is that we know that it will work because it's science-based. They've literally taken people's brains and put them in an MRI before and after, and we see both structural and functional changes in the brain, meaning structural, like the actual brain is shaped differently, and that's those pathways that are telling you about new ones have grown. And function, meaning the brain works differently. So it's not taking those same pathways anymore. We're not thinking about things in the same way that we did. We're not automatically worrying and always looking for danger. Our brain literally works differently. We see things differently and we feel different. And this just starts to happen automatically without you having to do anything different because you changed it on the inside. Okay. So that's first and foremost is just for you to know that what I did was I curated the things that I've seen that have worked, but I stayed true to mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and I put it in a way in this online format for moms to be able to most easily access it so that you can actually get it done. So a normal mindfulness-based stress reduction or MBCT course is 8 or 10 weeks long, and you go every week for 3 hours. I don't have time for that. Do you? No. So I knew that moms would not go to that, and then you wouldn't get the help that you needed. The other thing that I know from working with moms for so long is that we're not dumb. We all have the innate ability to learn. And I really don't feel like you need to be sort of paying somebody in live time or spending that time live when you could be doing it on your own. So that's another reason why part of this program and most of this program, depending on which version you choose, is all online for you so that you can do it when it works for you and when your brain works the best, right? Or simply when you just have time. So I needed to get these roadblocks out of the way. And that's why we have it all on this online learning hub. So we have curated information that's specific to moms, the stuff that I've seen work the best, but also all of the MBC stuff that's proven to work. And it's online for you in these little snippets and little chunks so that you can get it done in a way that's going to work for you, which basically guarantees your success. And that's a big deal. The reason that people aren't successful with therapy is because they fall off the wagon. They just don't finish. There's no beginning, there's no middle, and there's no end. This has that. You know exactly how long you're going to be working on this for, 10 weeks. You know exactly what you're going to be doing each week. You don't have to search around for it, and you can do it in time chunks that make most sense for you. So without further ado, let me take you into the program and I'll show you what it looks like. So I'm just going to share my screen. Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Sorry, guys. Let me keep trying here. There it is. Ta-da! Okay. So when you sign up for Braving Wild Motherhood, you will immediately get access to this, which is called the Learning Hub. And you also get access to, it's optional, but a private closed Facebook group where you will get support from me and another facilitator that we have, a trauma-informed yoga instructor and birth doula, who is there to help you through this journey with questions you have and if you get stuck. So as soon as you sign up, you get right into that group. And then you can start working on your modules. So here are your modules down on the side. You'll see that they're numbered, one for each week, as well as an extra week, actually. So it's like a bonus week of your quick start module. And then you'll just see your little lessons on the side. When you click on it, there it is. And they're just audio lessons. So you put it on when you're washing the dishes or you're making their food or you're in the car. And look at this one. This is one of the longest ones. It's 20 minutes long. But then, for example, here's a nutrition one. It's 2 minutes long. So this is the thing, is it's really easy. You don't just stop anything in the middle and then forget where you were and restart. It literally is so straightforward. It ticks it off with a check mark if you accomplished it, so you know where you're at. And then it has your handouts down below. So for this one, for example, you right away get to start with some nutrition. So nutrition is something that I haven't talked to you about or told you about yet, but in the Braving Wild Motherhood program, there are over 60 holistic nutrition recipes for you. These are they're gentle. They are for any mom, no matter where you are in your motherhood journey. They are safe for pregnancy, for postpartum, for breastfeeding, and any time after that. They also are free from anything that might be a normal possible food sensitivity. So they don't have any gluten, they don't have any dairy, they don't have any refined sugar. But what they do have is a ton of nutrition, because what we know is that nutrition and mental health are connected. And we know that as moms, our nutrition is one of those things that really tends to fall off the radar first. So I wanted to just put it back on the radar for you in a really delicious, yummy, fun way. These recipes, anyone can eat them in the family. And you know that you're going to be filling up your body with great nutrition. It's going to give you energy. And we're also going to make sure that your anxiety isn't caused or isn't being made worse by just a lack of nutrients. Okay. So that's one of the other great things that you get. And you find it right there. So that would be lesson one. And let's just skip into another one. I'll give you a little sample of that. And every one of them, you'll see a little audio lesson in the beginning. This one is 6 minutes long. And then it provides you with 2 different options for your meditation that week. And obviously, because of the name mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, this program is built on meditation. And so if you're not into meditation, this might not be the program for you. But I think that if you are in the Zen Mamas group, especially because it says a holistic way through overwhelm and anxiety, you might be interested in these types of approaches that really harness the power of our whole body and our whole mind to get better from the source, rather than just sort of doing band-aid solutions. We know that mindfulness is a really, really powerful tool to grow new brain pathways. And that's what we're teaching you here. So a lot of people ask me, like, Jillian, I am doing all of the things people tell me to. I got the mindfulness apps, I'm doing my yoga, and I still feel anxious. The reason for that and the difference with this is that you have to do mindfulness in combination with psychotherapy strategies and in a certain order, in order to trigger these brain pathways to grow in the way that you want and to override the old default anxious ones. Otherwise, mindfulness is a wonderful tool. It's a great thing to practice, but it won't know to override the other ones that are there. So in an anxious situation or stressful situation, your brain will still default to the old ones until it's taught something new. So that is why we run through it in the specific systematic way so that you make sure that you get your results. Okay, so Here's another module. For example, we take a break from a lot of the therapy stuff and we go into another nutrition module, and you will see another nutrition guide. There's 4 nutrition guides for you in here. All of this stuff is yours to keep. I'm just seeing that and think I want to make that for dinner tonight. It's so delicious. This one actually starts with breakfasts, paleo, no oats, overnight oats, different smoothies. This one has some ginger in it, which is great for digestion, very antiviral, antibacterial, great for the immune system, which is something we all are concerned about right now. And so that's all the breakfast stuff. I'm just going to skip through so you can see some other stuff too. Some snacks, oatmeal, almond breakfast bars, sweet potato and egg hash, some really simple things, sweet potato toast with avocado and sauerkraut. Why? So everything in here is on purpose, by the way, from a holistic nutrition perspective. Sauerkraut helps us with our digestion. And usually when we're stressed and anxious, our digestion is one of the first things that falls off the wagon. We're going to get that back for you. So yeah, there you go. You're going to get 4 of those guides. Like I said, they're yours to keep. And you'll also get, what else is there in here? Some worksheets. So for example, and I don't want to give away much more, you are going to learn how to go through your day and prioritize activities in a way that helps you make sure that everything gets done, but that also includes your own needs and make sure that those get met. And I know you're probably saying, Jillian, I think I can do that on my own, but this is a little bit different in terms of the type of activities and learning the difference between ones that make us feel good because we accomplished something and ones that make feel good because they just gave us a sense of joy and different things like that. So I'm really going to steer you through all of the aspects of rewiring those worried brain pathways into calm ones so that they stay that way for life. So here's the thing that I wanted to ask you guys is, how long do you feel like, is it okay for you to keep feeling anxious? Because here's the thing, and I'm going to stop sharing so I can talk to you in a really honest way now. So now you kind of can see that anxiety is not a simple process, and it happens for like multiple reasons, like I said, like a perfect storm. It affects the way that our brain is structured and the way that it works. So if you are waiting for something to change in your life and hoping that that will be what gets rid of your anxiety, you're going to be waiting a long time. Okay. I hear it all the time. Once my baby sleeps better, my anxiety will be gone. No, you'll just have something different to be anxious about then. Once this pandemic is over, I'll feel better. Maybe. But if you're anxious, if you have those, if you can't quiet your mind, if you have those pathways, if you're waking up at night nervous or having trouble sleeping, if you're thinking about bad things happening, if you need reassurance before making decisions because you can't trust yourself, you're worried that something bad's going to happen, these things will not change just because something in your life changes. You have to get into here. So I just want you to think about, like, how long is it okay for you to wait and miss out on this time that you could be present with your children, that you could be not feeling this way. So this program is 10 weeks long. You saw there's a week before the quick start module. So that's really 11 weeks. And if it takes you a little bit longer than that, then that's 12 weeks. So 3 months. To me, 3 months is not very long when it comes to undoing what's probably taken a long time, even maybe years, to get to this point. But if you keep waiting, then you have to keep adding 3 more months to that. So if you decide that you are worth it or to invest your time and money in, if you decide that you feel just so bad that you can't take it anymore 6 months from now, it's going to be 9 months until you are on the route to feeling better. So think about that. Think about how long is worth it for you to stay this way. And I know that because it took me a lot longer than 3 months. So it took me years. It took me years to try all the different things. I tried them from a holistic perspective. I tried them from a mental health and like scientific perspective. And I tried all of the different things. And it took me a really long time. So that's why I'm saying choose something that science says works, that's made specifically for mothers, that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And stop wasting time, stop wasting money, and stop losing your motherhood to feeling anxious. It breaks my heart when I see it. I feel worry a lot, like I feel afraid of things sometimes. I have hard emotions. I'm a normal person, but I don't fall back into anxiety because I did this work. Okay. So here's another question is how long, not how long, I just asked that, but how much is it okay to spend money on other people without spending any on yourself? When ultimately, when you do this, when you spend money, when you invest in yourself and you invest in your well being, everyone else in your household is better. Okay. Your children learn how to not be anxious because they're watching you not be anxious. And how can we as moms legitimately role model to our children? How can we help them not be anxious? How can we help them have good mental health if we don't even know? If we don't even have those tools in our toolbox? And it's not really our fault. We all are sort of this generation where we're now able to openly talk about mental health, but nobody actually taught us. We have this double whammy, this double-edged sword of working on ourselves and fixing and overcoming our own mental health, then also preventing it from happening for our children. So how can we do that if we don't have the tools? So this is what I'm saying to you is we can spend the money on other people and feel guilty about spending it on ourselves, but ultimately it couldn't be better spent than on you if you can save your children from going through those same struggles. And if you can be present for them, because really all they need is your presence. All they need to grow their brain, to grow their body is you. And I'm pretty sure our spouses, our children, our friends, everyone wants us to feel better. So there's no guilt in this. There is no guilt on spending money on yourself when it comes to something as important as your well being. The last thing I wanted to say to you with all love is that you have everything within you already to heal. Your brain and your body is like a self-healing organism. Just like if you get a scratch, the skin heals over, and then in a week or two, it's like it was never even there. Your brain also holds the ability to rewire and completely change. You are not just an anxious person. You are not just stuck like this. Okay? That is not a thing. But if you could do it without a roadmap, you already would have by now. If I could have done it without all of the stuff that I did, I would have, and I would not have struggled for as long as I did. So here's the thing, like I said, we all have the ability to be our own self healers, but we need a map. Okay. If you knew how to do it, you already would have. If I could fill my own cavities, I wouldn't go to the dentist. So now's the time. It's now or never. It's here. We have only one motherhood, and it's okay. It's healthy. It's a good thing to take care of ourselves and take care of our mental health. And ultimately, that is how we best take care of our children. So I hope that was helpful for you. You saw everything that Braving Wild Motherhood includes now. Finally, I made the video. You get basically almost 3 months of these mindfulness based psychotherapy teachings based on MBCT, mindfulness based cognitive therapy, CBT, ACT, and a few more. You get immediate and ongoing access to the Learning Hub. So that's yours indefinitely, basically for life, as long as the website exists, it's yours. So if you want to repeat it, you can. If you want to take twice as long to do it, you can. It's yours to do however it works best for you. Then you get all of the curated mindfulness meditations, the worksheets, the exercises, all of the things that you need to do for your brain to close those learning loops and grow those beautiful new calm neural connections. And then you get the over 60 holistic nutrition recipes that are specifically made for moms, but great for the entire family. Um, Lastly, is if you live in Canada, and in only in certain provinces, but specifically Ontario, you might be able to add in some optional psychotherapy sessions with me that we would do together to support your journey. And that would help with the cost because it might make the program eligible for insurance benefits. So that's an option to add on if you live in Ontario or some other provinces in Canada. And if that's you, just email me or send me a PM and we can talk about that some more. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that answered your questions about the Braving Wild Motherhood program. I'm always here to talk to you more about it, to answer any more questions. And I really, really hope that you finally decide that it's now or never to take care of yourself, to stop feeling bad, to start being the role model and the mom that you always thought you would be, because I know I've seen it over and over and over again. I've seen the changes with so many moms. I know that it's possible for you, and I'm here to help you whenever you're ready. That's it. Take care. I love you all. Talk to you soon.